True Royal?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, y'all. I know by now many of you have heard this BS with Joe Biden. And we saw that phone call, and he pretty much was like the slave master talking to the slaves on that phone call for real.
Mm.
And we ain't gonna talk about that, y'all. We gonna go there. True Royal, is there anything you want to say before I get started?
No, go ahead, because I had plenty to say last night.
I know, right?
I'll add it in later.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, during the election season, I had some folks come on and try to drag me for saying that I don't vote. Okay? They tried to drag me over not voting. You should feel like a complete ass by now. You know, and where do y'all get this vote no matter what crap? So you're not supposed to have any standards. You're not supposed to even like the policy of the person. Just vote. Just vote anyway. You know where y'all get that from? Y'all get that bullshit from white folks. That's where you get it from. That doesn't even make any common sense. If you see two candidates, Trump and Biden, and believe me, you didn't even have good candidates to choose from, and you still gonna vote, and you know what? That's why he got the name Jim Crow Joe. Where do you think he got it from? He got it from how he used to talk about black people back in his Senate days.
Yeah, ain't nothing new.
Right. So that being said, how do you just vote anyway? You just doing that at the direction of white folks. That's what you're doing. So you haven't developed no standards when it comes down to voting. You don't care what the person, just as long as they're on the opposite side of Republican, you're good with it. You should be ashamed of yourself, because you know what? What happened on this phone call? All of you Negroes that went out there and vote and didn't set any standards for yourself, you are responsible for what happened on this phone call to these black folks. And another thing, I looked at an article today. They said Black Lives Matter have been trying to get an interview with Kamala and Joe Biden for weeks now, and they won't even acknowledge them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Jim Crow Joe did, y'all? You know what he did? He enticed you to vote for him, and now he's pulling that benign and neglect bullshit that we have seen for centuries in this country. He's doing the benign and neglect. He got your vote. He's in as president. Now it's F you. That's exactly what he's doing.
Yep. Yeah, he told them off, didn't he?
He sure did. He literally sat on that phone call and told them niggers to shut the hell up on out of here. I ain't doing nothing for you. I ain't gonna do nothing that you say. Now, what happened to the Joe Biden that said the black community had my back? Now I'm gonna have yours. Is that an example of having black people's back? That's not what it looks like to me.
Now, Lisa, you know it's bad, because I know you don't go over there and listen to Roland Martin. They was upset over there. Roland said Biden need to watch his tone. You don't talk to nobody.
How you gonna have several black people on a damn call, and when that man start talking out of his face like that at you, how did nobody step in and correct him? You don't come at me like that, Joe Biden. Oh no, ain't gonna be like that. Nobody said a word. They were like just a whip slave.
And BET lied and said that they had a productive conversation.
No, that was a very one-sided conversation.
Yeah, he said when he began the conversation, he said, I don't have time. That meant that I'm going to be here for a short time. He already knew what he was going to say. And he said it. And then we heard Al Sharpton, Biscuit Eater, buck. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. And one more thing, y'all. We don't allow anybody to tell us who our leaders are. And I noticed even when I went to the articles on this, civil rights leaders, those folks are not our leaders. And we need to make that very clear. Just because you gather a group of Black people together, that does not mean they are the leaders over the community. They are most certainly not. Okay, they have been pulling this stunt forever, trying to pick who our leaders are. No, we reject that. If we did not agree that these folks are leaders in the community, we don't go along with that. We reject that.
And and what he's also pissed about is he don't want nobody to tell him who to put in that damn cabinet because he's blatantly disregarding. Because I told people on my channel there's a 2-tier system in that cabinet. Now they're working on that 1-tier system, and the first tier system is tokenism. And it might be a little tokenism on the first tier, but Biden is going to put in, there's key spots that he putting certain people in, and he's being blatant with it.
Yeah.
And he's giving you a loud message with it. He don't give a fuck what anybody say. He know they record.
Yeah. Now, look, he brought Rahm Emanuel. Okay. Rahm Emanuel, he shouldn't even be on nobody's damn list. But it just goes to show you, Joe Biden is going to put any bigot, any racist, anybody that's got a reputation for covering up the deaths of Black people. Those are the people that he wants in his cabinet.
Yeah, and he's being blatant with it.
And he's not moving. So even if you got a complaint, he don't give a damn.
Yeah, so them coming talking to him about, well, you know they record. He know they damn record.
Sure do.
He been working with them people for the longest. That man damn near been in office off and on for 50 years. Almost. And when you think about it, Lisa, this is the part that tripped me out. Some of these people still in place. I was in high school. They're still in place. What are you around for?
Yep.
Damn. Oh.
And
overcomers.
You should have known you were just voting in an old ornery man. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Crow Joe has arrived. And he will be there for 4 years now.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, he's coming in on that cursed year with a 0, right? But what I'm saying is, as long as he's breathing, you're going to have to put up with this man. And he's letting you know he ain't letting no Negro up in this land tell him what to do. That's what he pretty much said on that phone call and said.
Yeah, he's signaling them right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And Kamala sat right next to him on the phone call, unmoved. Okay. That is not a representative of the Black community like they're trying to tell us.
I'm glad it happened.
Me too.
Before the inauguration and all that shit.
But we know, True Royal, that we gonna have some diehard riding Negroes that will see this. And if Joe Biden is still around in 4 years, they gonna look you in the face and say, I'm voting for him again. We know our people. We know we're not gonna walk away from this man.
What has Biden did? What he say, Lisa? He was the only when he say what he say. So what? Would you give a fuck about your word?
Right.
That was your word because you said something that happened in Charlottesville and stuff.
Yeah, we don't care about that. We don't care about that.
What have you done that's tangible?
Right.
You know,
and as far as I'm concerned, their works without reparations ain't nothing. Okay. We don't have a president that has gone above and beyond for the Black community. We don't have that. And you're not going to get that in Joe Biden. He's showing you already.
Never have and never will.
So this man ain't even go through his inauguration and he's already slapping the Black community in the face.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even get inaugurated yet, and he's blowing off the people that got him in office. And then you're talking about you don't have to work with the Hispanics because they're bigger than you. No, they're not. No, they're not. They've been trying to convince us of that. Remember, the gatekeepers of the number in this country are the same ones that enslaved you. Do you believe them? Do you believe them, ladies and gentlemen? Do you believe them?
I don't know what it's going to take.
You know, this is what I'm talking about. So those of you that went out and vote, you got what you were asking for. Okay, I doubt if you'll get up on your high horse trying to say, well, you know, I voted, right? Yeah. It don't look so good anymore, does it?
No, it don't look good at all.
Next time, have some damn standards, okay? Develop some standards the next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This man is turning on us already.
Yeah, and they black folks sat up there and let somebody talk crazy to them.
Yes, they sure did.
I don't let nobody talk crazy to me. I don't care who it is.
Right. No, and they not only did they allow him to talk crazy, they didn't even interrupt him. He had the floor all to himself running his mouth.
Sure did.
I wish that old bastard would.
I would cuss his ass out. But see, you know what it makes me think of? Remember when it was the most powerful thing I ever heard when KD said crumbs are for Lucifer's plates. And that's them ones getting them crumbs off of Lucifer's plates.
He ain't even gonna let you have a crumb. Listen to the way that man is talking. He ain't even gonna let you have the crumb. He don't want you to have nothing. So now that he's the president, what he wants you to do is go somewhere, sit down, and shut the hell up.
And he said dial it back on anything regarding police reform or anything like that.
Yeah. So
he basically said he's not gonna do nothing.
No, he's not. He's gonna do just what all the other presidents did in this country. Sit back and watch us get murdered for the next 4 years that he's in office. That's what he's prepared to do.
Same old, same old.
I mean, look, you voted for this man and he wouldn't even acknowledge that the crime bill was a mistake. He said he believed the crime bill was good.
Wasn't he just recently talking about we need to raise our kids better and all that kind of stuff?
He said, I did a video on it, Queen. He said, the problem is black parents can't read.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Black parents can't read. And listen, when I went to see the literacy rate in America, black people are actually more literate than white people. Go look this up. I'm telling you the truth. Black people are more literate than white people. You know why? Because we had to always try twice as hard to achieve anything. If anything, black people are the most literate people in this country. We're more literate than people that come from Joe Biden's group.
Lisa, wait just a second. I'm gonna step away for just a minute. Wait just a second, Lisa.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I had people try to come at me and tell me I couldn't say nothing because I didn't vote. As long as I pay taxes and I'm paying my money into the system, I'm going to say what I want. Let's just make that clear so y'all don't come try to step at me like that anymore. I'm going to say what I want. And I would urge all of you to do that. As long as you're paying into this system, you're paying your property taxes, rent, you're paying all kinds of taxes out of your paycheck, you open your mouth and say whatever the hell you want. Period. You don't let nobody tell you no mess like that. Boy, we really got to rise above. And just like this man slapped us in the face, you got to slap his ass back in the face. You got to do it back to him. And see, that's the biggest problem with the black community. We don't believe in retaliating. We just don't. We could have retaliate on so many different things. that has happened over the years. As soon as you say economic boycott, I don't want to do that. No. You know, because going without is like some big deal to you. And look, the shelves are short all around the country. You're already going without, whether you like it or not.
I'm back. Excuse me.
But why don't we ever want to do consequences for people that step up on us wrong?
I don't know what it's going to take.
I just don't get it. I don't get. Shoot, you should be ready. Let's do something now. Let's organize and do something now. Not our people.
No, they keep telling us. They keep telling us what they've been telling us before many of us even been here. Wait. What is there to wait for?
Yeah, wait for what? Wait for what?
Mm-hmm.
Wait to see more racism? Is that what you're asking us to wait for?
Because one thing that we can guarantee, we're gonna see and continue to see more police shootings. More police will continue to get away with it, and all that bullshit that they continue to blatantly do in our face.
Right.
So how much longer are you gonna? Go ahead. Excuse me.
Thank you, Black Mama, for the super chat. You said we have the right to vote and not to vote. Exactly. But, you know, I'm glad you said that, Black Mama. Some of our people act like they must vote. They gotta do it. And I'm sorry, that is wrong. I don't know where, you know, y'all develop some very bad habits that you don't want to let go of. Please let go of that habit. There's no honor to ancestors to vote for any old body, especially a known racist. Thank you, Black Mama. Well said.
There is no redeeming qualities in Esau. None. And stop. And we're too busy. Some of us too busy standing around, hanging around, waiting for something, you know, something good to come from them. I mean, we didn't have so many examples. What more do we need?
Right. I mean, and we've been waiting for what, 500 years, and we still got to wait again because some people are scared. Because after a while, I have to see it only one way. When you don't want to do something that tells me you fear something about it that scares you. That's why you're not motivated to do anything.
A lot of people don't want to admit that they're afraid and stuff. And being afraid don't always necessarily mean you're a coward. I mean, I often say we've been affected by the system. Yes. You know, it may be a process, you know, to work on certain fears and different things like that. But to sit up and get talked to crazy, Lisa will tell you, I'll go the fuck off. I don't let nobody talk crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
No way. I don't care who it is.
After a while, it's like, okay, when is it enough disrespect?
And remember this ain't the first time he done went off on them.
No, it sure isn't.
He do this all the time.
And if you notice, Obama ain't even the president no more, but when he gets in front of black people, he does the same thing. And I'm like, why is everybody sitting there taking that? When Obama gets started talking down to black people, the only thing you need to do is pick up your shit and walk out the room. You don't let nobody talk to you like that. Where's your damn dignity?
Yeah.
And you know what? What do you think Joe Biden is going to do? He sat and watched Obama disrespect us. You think he's going to come in and respect us? No, he's going to give you that same level of disrespect and even worse because his ass is a...
Everybody thinks they got to lecture us for some reason. They don't talk to no other group of people like that but us.
The bottom line is nobody's going to respect us unless we command respect. And we haven't done that yet.
Oh, he's talking crazy.
You ain't talking to us like this. We ain't coming back out for you no more. We ain't voting for this. We ain't voting for that. We're going to sit this out.
Yeah.
You know,
and I don't know what folks is afraid of because they don't do nothing for us. So it's like you thinking, oh, if I gotta vote because if I don't vote, ain't nothing. They not gonna do nothing. They ain't doing nothing. you keep going down the same road.
Right.
Or do nothing, but they want that black vote.
Yes. Okay.
Like I said, when I got passed, because I voted for a little bit, and I was voting. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The reason why I voted, because I was thinking what our ancestors went through, but I said they didn't fight for this. No. No.
Well, we can't insult our ancestors anyway. They're dead. Okay. We can't insult them anymore. Chris in Dallas, thank you so much for the super chat. Biden showed that geriatric pimp hand with that life alert and fish tank platform shoes. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
With his ass be forgetting shit mid-sentence. But we are supposed to believe this is the best person for the country and for our community? Nah. Just understand. Presidents are not there for the Black community. They talk a good game because they're just trying to get in office. But at the end of the day, their intent is to ignore us for the next 4 years. Benign and neglect. And he's playing the game already. And see, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Wait until Kamala gets up and start talking crazy to us, because it's coming. It's coming. If you think she ain't gonna do it, think again. She is.
She knows for it.
She's geared up to do it. She gonna take one day, something's gonna go down, and Kamala gonna get her raggedy ass up and start talking crazy to us too. You watch.
I live in Kamala country. I heard her do it. She will do it. I'm right here in the thick of it.
Yeah. Okay. Stomp down. Obama came out for 2 months talking about hope and change on the Breakfast Club. Yeah. And then what did he do? Talk down to Black fathers and all that stuff. That's the kind of stuff he was doing. But he wouldn't dare get in front of a white crowd doing that mess.
What did he say there before he left office? About his legacy? The hell with your legacy.
I don't care about none of their legacies. Okay? I don't care about none of their damn legacies.
Yeah, now all of a sudden we feel like we're obligated to do something. They don't feel obligated to us.
No, they sure
aren't. You demand our vote, and then you don't feel like you're obligated. Then you gotta process that.
You sure do. I mean, look, inauguration day is January 20th, and this man has already given the community the finger. Already doing it.
That's why his foot broke. That's why your foot all toe up.
So, y'all, just in case you didn't hear the audio, I'm going to go ahead and play it now.
Okay, I'm going to go on mute.
Okay.
Welcome to Deconstructed. I'm Ryan Grimm.
Hello.
On Tuesday, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris held a private Zoom call with a small group of civil rights leaders from across the country.
This is a completely closed call, so just want to remind you of that. There's no recording.
Clearly, somebody did record, and now I have a copy of it, and now you're listening to it. Present for the Zoom was Derek Johnson, president of the NAACP, Vanita Gupta, a former ACLU attorney who was Obama's Civil Rights Division head, the Reverend Al Sharpton, Sherilyn Ifill, Melanie Campbell, who's the president of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, and soon-to-be former Congressman Cedric Richmond, who Biden has named an assistant to the president. In many ways, it was a Zoom call like any other.
Can't hear you, Cedric. You're on mute.
It also included a few Biden-esque boasts.
I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who are African Americans who are dying was 3 times that of white people. I don't carry around a stamp on my head saying progressive and I'm AOC, but I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Anybody you know.
Some Biden cringe.
by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
And some Biden temper.
Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it.
But it was also a space for an airing of, if not grievances, at least slight disappointments, and a forum for civil rights leaders to lobby Biden on everything from personnel to executive action to legislation. Many of those in the meeting urged Biden to be aggressive in his use of executive power.
I want to ask that you consider issuing an executive order to create a national task force to examine challenges to our democracy, a national voter access commission.
It's going to be important, for example, that one of your first actions is a reversal of the executive order that President Trump promulgated that essentially seeks to gag conversations about diversity, race, and history among anyone who contracts with the federal government. And so we would ask you to lend your voice and your strength and your influence and your power and your ability to reach across the aisle to try and pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. But failing that, we would ask you to pull from that act measures that can be enacted by executive order. You have the power to call for a national database on police misconduct. You have the power to ask for a registry that will allow people to easily search in public multiple misconduct complaints against particular officers. You have the ability to impose a database around police killings and police shootings. And these are things that you can do by executive order. There is a prison tragedy that is unfolding because of COVID. I encourage you to use your power to order an investigation of state and local prisons and jails to find out precisely what is happening. And you have that power through the Department of Justice.
And here's Al Sharpton.
We don't care about throwing fists in the air and the symbols. We want the substance. The Joe Biden I've known is substance. The Kamala Harris I've known is substance. We need it now more than ever. And I would hope that on the first day, you start doing the things with your executive orders to restore some dignity to law enforcement in our community and to voting.
Biden, in fact, has an enormous amount of power as president. 2 episodes ago, we devoted an entire show to just that. It turns out that Biden does not appear to be a deconstructed subscriber. Here's how he responded to those calls.
There's some things that I'm going to be able to do by executive order. I'm not going to hesitate to do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do what used to, Benita, you probably used to get angry with me during the debates, when you'd have some of the people you were supporting say, on day one, I'm going to executive order to do this. Not within the constitutional authority. I am not going to violate the Constitution. There is a Constitution. It's our only hope. Our only hope. And the way to deal with it is where I have executive authority, I will use it to undo every single damn thing this guy has done by executive authority. But I'm not going to exercise executive authority where it's questioned, where I can come along and say, I can do away with assault weapons. There's no executive authority to do away with that. And no one's fought harder to get rid of assault weapons than me. Me. But you can't do it by executive order. If you do that, next guy comes along and says, well, guess what? By executive order, I'm going to say everybody can own machine guns again. So we got to be careful. I know you all know this. I know you know it. And poor Kamala's heard me say this, and so has Cedric. I used to have a friend named Bob Gold, who was a really bright guy. Not much of it. We went to school together. He wasn't an academic whiz.
The Bob Gold story sadly doesn't go anywhere. The upshot of the anecdote is that he taught Biden the word overstand, which is a kind of black power term from back in the day that was used as a stand-in for understand, but adding in an element of higher level awareness.
He looked at me and said, Joe, I not only understand you, I overstand you. I'm sure you overstand me here.
Biden also heard from the NAACP's Johnson, whose organization, among many others, had been pushing to have Representative Marcia Fudge named as Agriculture Secretary. The Biden camp had been leaning toward picking Tom Vilsack, who had also served as Obama's Secretary of Agriculture. Johnson let him know it would be a disastrous idea.
I would like to caution you in terms of the opportunity to get good people confirmed in the Senate. It would result in the outcome of this Georgia election. Anything that could peel off any of the votes would be something that could be harmful to the outcome. Former Secretary Vilsack could have a disastrous impact on voters in Georgia. Shirley Sherrod is a civil rights legend, a hero. I live in the state of Mississippi. I'm surrounded by civil rights icons, and I understand the reverence that many of them have, particularly in rural areas.
Johnson is being delicate there. His point that if Biden doesn't win Georgia, he'll struggle to get his people confirmed is a solid one, but he's being polite. It'll also block his entire legislative agenda. But our younger listeners might not remember the story of Shirley Sherrod, who Johnson mentions at the end of that clip. Let's take you back to July 19th, 2010, when Andrew Breitbart posted a short clip of her speaking before an NAACP audience. At the time, Sherrod was the Georgia State Director of Rural Development for the Agriculture Department.
You know, the first time I was faced with having to help a white farmer save his farm, he took a long time talking, but he was trying to show me he was superior to me. I knew what he was doing, but he had come to me for help. What he didn't know while he was taking all that time trying to show me he was superior to me was I was trying to decide just how much help I was going to give him. I was struggling with the fact that so many Black people have lost their farmland, and here I was faced with having to help a white person save their land. So I didn't give him the full force of what I could do.
By the end of the day, she'd been fired, with Vilsack saying that she had to go because she was an obstacle to the agency's effort to reckon with its troubled past on racial justice issues. Sherrod, who was married to civil rights legend Reverend Charles Sherrod, said she'd been taken out of context and that she was telling a story of growth, redemption, and rethinking, not one of hate. The NAACP, after she'd been canned, found the full audio of her talks, and here's the critical part that was left out.
So I took him to a white lawyer. I figured if I take him to one of them, that his own kind would take care of him. That's when it was revealed to me that y'all, it's about poor versus those who have. And not so much about white. It is about white and Black, but it's not, you know, it opened my eyes because I took him to one of his own. And I put him in his hand and felt, okay, I've done my job.
From there, Sherrod talks about how the lawyer didn't actually do anything and the farmer came to her in desperation a week before the foreclosure. She scrambled and found an attorney who'd worked with the area's Black farmers and urged him to take the man's case. Here was her conclusion.
Working with him made me see that it's really about those who have versus those who don't. You know, and they could be Black, they could be white, they could be Hispanic. And it made me realize then that I needed to work to help poor people, those who don't have access the way others had.
After that, Vilsack apologized and offered her a job back at the USDA. But this new job would focus on fixing the agency's race issues. She said she didn't want that burden and turned it down. Flash forward 10 years again and back to Johnson.
Shirley Sherrod is a civil rights legend, a hero. I live in the state of Mississippi. I'm surrounded by civil rights icons, and I understand the reverence that many of them have, particularly in rural areas. So I want to make sure that as you consider appointments, that you do so with November 5th in mind, so that we don't miss an opportunity to be able to get confirmed some of the outstanding candidates that you're going to bring forward. If you decide to take that route, I strongly encourage you to reach out to Ms. Sherrod, have a conversation with her. I strongly encourage you to talk to Black farmers so that you have a clear understanding of the impact any decision can have on the January 5th election. It is our goal as NAACP, it is our goal as civil rights community for this administration to be successful. And it can only be the success we need it to be if we have the ability to get good people confirmed.
Biden, however, used the warning on Sherrod as a jumping off point for a counter warning. Don't push too hard on police reform, he told the group. at least not now.
One of the things I'd be concerned about, just as was pointed out to me that you wanted me to be concerned, Derek, I think it was you said it, about, dealing with Vilsack as in terms of agriculture. Well, first of all, you can learn more about Vilsack's record, but my point is this. I don't think we should make that a big issue going into before January 5th when the election takes place down in Georgia. But I also don't think we should get too far ahead of ourselves on dealing with police reform in that, because they've already labeled us as being defund the police. Anything we put forward in terms of the organizational structure to change policing, which I promise you will occur, promise you. Just think to yourself and give me advice whether we should do that before January 5th, because that's how they beat the living hell out of us across the country, saying that we're talking about defunding the police. We're not. We're talking about holding them accountable. I just raise it with you to think about. How much do we push between now and January 5th? We need those 2 seats about police reform, but I guarantee you there will be a full-blown commission. I guarantee you it's a major, major, major element. And as Reverend Al said, I was a pain in the ass to everybody except him when we did the commission before. I didn't think we went far enough. We can go very far. It matters how we do it. I think it matters how we do it. As I learned early on, it's all right to question your opponents, and you're not my opponents, any of you. It's always appropriate to question your opponent's judgment. It's never appropriate to question their motive, even if you know it. Because once you question their motive, you're done. You can't get anything done. By the way, let's talk about building highways. By the way, you're in the pocket of the cement industry. Now, what can we do together? Not a chance of getting anything done. So we can be tough, question judgment, not motive to get things done. Anyway, I'm going to yield to my vice president, and she can correct all the mistakes I made.
All right. Just listening to that, it is very obvious nothing was accomplished in that phone call. Nothing.
That was just to set some folks in place and shut the hell up. Don't bother him.
Right.
Because keep in mind again, the reason why this phone call came about, that conference came about, Kamala and Biden was ignoring them.
Yeah.
And then you also mentioned Black Lives Matter. They don't want to hear nothing from nobody.
No, especially us.
Mm-hmm.
Especially us. Mm-hmm. Now, I promise you, if it was any other group or immigrants trying to reach out to them, they would be all in.
No, they ain't even had to reach in. They already talking about what he gonna do for the very people who don't pay taxes, for the very people who don't vote, and the very people that illegally came over here.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, TJ, for the Cash App. Thank you. Yeah, and to add insult to injury, at the end of the day, they got off of that call, and that man didn't make a commitment to not one thing they want. So that should be a clear indicator of what the next 4 years are going to be like with Joe Biden. You ain't going to do nothing, and he doesn't feel one sense of guilt about not doing a thing for the community that got his ass in office.
And that's how he always talked to them biscuit eaters. And then remember, Sharpton got up there and bugged us harder. So
yeah, Al Sharpton is, I don't know what we're looking at these days. The Al Sharpton that rose up back in the 80s and 90s is not the Al Sharpton we're looking at today. It's like day and night.
That Negro got paid.
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. He has no fight in him now. He has none. Well, this is how Joe Biden is always going to talk to the community. This is how he's showing you.
He's going to scream about, I done did more and I done did more.
Yeah, isn't that what Trump said?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Trump said? Trump said he did more for the black community than any other president. Isn't that what Trump said?
How you did. I'm still searching.
Mm-hmm. They all come in there saying the same thing, and we know damn well these folks don't do anything for us.
These people think they are great in what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at how they look at themselves. And then what he don't, another thing I picked up on, because I played that same video you played, is like when the sister was speaking and she went in depth, that pissed them off too, because that points out what they're not doing.
Right. Yeah. So it's pretty much the same thing we see, even on jobs. Don't come and ask me for nothing. You Negroes are supposed to be quiet. Don't come and ask for nothing. That is their overall attitude when they're dealing with us.
Yeah. He wants you to be enamored that you got him in office.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So Jim Crow Joe has showed his face. He showed his hand. Now we know exactly what's going to happen over the next 4 years. Absolutely nothing.
I still don't think he's going to make it.
You gave your vote to a freaking racist. And the way he talked to those black folks on that call, he is still one. He's just aged. The only thing about him that is different, he has aged. But that same Joe Biden you saw in the 70s is the same Joe Biden you're looking at now.
And also that was a message to his folks that back him that the old Jim Crow is here.
Yes.
We ain't let these niggas turn me. He left that message out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. To believe they didn't already had their little KKK meeting. So, oh damn, did you talk to him real bad, huh? He said, yeah, straight. You know.
I heard all that mess from Clyburn talking about he didn't pick enough black people for key position. He ain't thinking about no James Clyburn.
Please.
Biden ain't thinking about him. He ain't thinking about him. He don't care what any of them Negroes in the Black Caucus say. He ain't thinking about none of them.
Yeah, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that shit. They got their own agenda.
Let me tell you, just get ready. There's going to be a lot of people killed under Kamala and Joe Biden.
Just like Obama. Same old shit warmed over.
Well, we don't know who leaked the audio, but it was somebody that was on that panel, on that Zoom call.
No, we don't. I think it was a female that did it.
It could have been.
Yeah, you never know.
I would not doubt it.
I laughed because the type of technology that we have, I always think you're being recorded, folks.
Yeah.
That's how I operate.
I mean, like I said, some of y'all were poking, not all of you, because I know everybody didn't vote. Let me just start by saying that. But some of y'all were poking your chest out and was all gleeful that Joe Biden won. What a letdown for you to see that.
Where them folks at? They done crawled up in some holes.
They're not going to step forward and identify themselves now, like they did back on November 4th and 5th, around that time after the election. Oh, well, you got to vote. You got to vote. Oh, you do? No, honey, the only thing I got to do is stay black and die. Well, not all of his supporters feel bad. I'm sure the other ones that look like him don't feel bad at all. They probably clapping and say, well, we're back to normal now. We're back to normal.
Yeah. Look at their lips. Yeah, he could have probably wanted it leaked too. We'll never know, but it was supposed to be out.
The Smitty, thank you so much for the super chat. He probably wanted it to be leaked. Yeah, well, it's out there now. But it will be interesting. His wife said something interesting. She said she's going to work the whole time.
Yeah, I remember her saying that. Yeah, I remember her saying that.
Yeah, she's a college professor, and she said she's going to keep her job and work as a college professor the whole time.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
These first ladies don't want to get involved in nothing. Did you hear about Trump's wife? She was making an inquiry about getting some money.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this bitch.
She also came out recently and said, I want to go home.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Well,
this woman wants some money from the government. She wants to get her a check. What the fuck did she do?
Nothing. She didn't even want to be the first lady. And yeah, Ivanka and her husband Jared, they're already down in Florida, picking out schools for the kids and everything.
Oh, they done ran their ass up out of New York, huh?
Yeah, because remember, they're looking at his 3 kids. They're not just looking at Trump. They're going after Trump, but they're going to go after his older children too. So they all trying to hightail it out of New York now. But they can make them, like I said, they can be extradited from Florida back up to New York.
Well, like I keep saying, the Secret Service men are right there with them, so they can arrest them anytime. It's so stupid. Oh my goodness.
Well, see, that's why Trump wanted to pardon.
Lisa, I have to scoot on. I'm gonna have to scoot on.
Okay.
But I'm glad that I did make this phase of it.
All right.
All right, family.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
No, that's why he's trying to pardon his 3 older kids and Rudy Giuliani before he goes. He wants to pardon himself. And I don't even know if he's going to be able to accomplish that or not, but he has expressed it multiple times. He doesn't want to be prosecuted because he knows what he did was wrong. And his tax, even Michael Cohen said his taxes are criminal. That's why he didn't want to show that mess for the last 4 years. But ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be something else with Joe Biden. Just expect nothing, just like we didn't get nothing from Trump and any of the other presidents, Trump, Obama, Bush, it doesn't matter which one. We always end up getting the fistful of nothing at the end of the day. So, those of you that like to push voting and getting up on your high horse, it's best that you lay low now, because a lot of people aren't going to take too kindly of that. It would not be wise for you to be that way. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and end. I definitely want you to write your opinion in the comment section and just tell me what you think, for real. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you feel about Joe Biden just blatantly talking to those people that they labeled as civil rights leaders any kind of way. It was just pure, that was just pure ignorance, for real. It really was. Yeah, I saw Cassius. I saw they were looking at Hunter Biden, investigating him on his taxes. I did see that. But I don't know how far that's going to go, being that his father is the president. I'm just thinking it's not going to probably get too far. If you remember, they were going after Trump's, I think Don Trump and Ivanka, when Trump got into office, and he ended up getting them out of the whole thing. And those 2 really should have went to jail, because they had ripped off millions of dollars from people, but they got out of the whole thing. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your evening. And those of you that are my channel members and patrons, I'm right in the process of finishing up my videos so that y'all can view those ahead of everybody else and before tomorrow. So enjoy your evening, everybody. Love you. Thank you for your support. And thank you for spending this time with me. peace, family.